open your phone for 1 second, and suddenly it's 45 minutes later. Yeah, that's not a discipline problem. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Today, I'm going to walk you through how your mind actually works, step by step, so you can stop fighting yourself and start working with your psychology instead of against it. Because once you understand this, a lot of your behaviors start making sense. Why you procrastinate, why you stay in situations too long, why you make decisions you regret, why motivation disappears. It's not random. So let's break it down. Step 1 is understanding that you don't have one brain. You have multiple systems competing for control. There's the oldest part responsible for survival, reacting instantly to threats, seeking food, avoiding pain. Then there's the emotional system, the part that remembers pleasure, fear, connection, habits. And finally, the logical system, the part you think is in charge. Here's the problem. When these systems disagree, the older ones usually win. You can know you shouldn't eat something, shouldn't check your phone, shouldn't react emotionally, and still do it anyway. That's not weakness. That's hierarchy. Your emotional and survival circuits are faster than logic. Think about when someone sends you a vague message like, "We need to talk tomorrow." Your body reacts immediately. Stress, tension, anxiety. Logically, nothing has happened yet, but your brain treats uncertainty like danger. Your nervous system evolved to handle predators, not emails, so the reaction comes first. Logic catches up later. Once you understand that, you stop being surprised by your own behavior. Step 2 is understanding dopamine, because most people misunderstand it completely. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical, it's the anticipation chemical. It spikes when your brain thinks a reward might happen, not when it actually does. That's why chasing something often feels better than getting it. Waiting for a package is exciting. Owning it becomes normal in 2 days. Scrolling social media is addictive because every swipe might show something interesting. Uncertainty drives dopamine harder than certainty. Casinos use this. Apps use this. Dating apps use this. Your brain evolved this system to keep you searching for food and opportunity. Now it keeps you searching for notifications. I remember once spending weeks researching a piece of tech I wanted to buy, watching reviews, comparing options, reading forums. The excitement was intense. When I finally got it, it was just fine. Nothing magical happened. That's dopamine prediction error. Your brain overestimates future rewards constantly. Step 3 is understanding habits, because most of your life is automated. Habits run on a simple loop. Cue, action, reward. You see your phone. That's the cue. You check it. That's the behavior. You get stimulation or novelty. That's the reward. Repeat enough times, and your brain stops asking permission. It just runs the program. That's why you sometimes grab your phone without even deciding to. Your brain loves automation because automation saves energy. It doesn't care if the habit makes you happy. It cares if the habit is efficient. Breaking habits feels hard because you're fighting a system designed to preserve patterns, which leads to step 4, recognizing the mental biases that quietly control your decisions. Your brain takes shortcuts constantly. One of the biggest is confirmation bias. You naturally look for information that supports what you already believe. Another is availability bias. Dramatic or recent events feel more common than they actually are. That's why people fear rare disasters but ignore everyday risks. Then there's anchoring. The first number you hear influences your judgment. A price marked down from $200 to $100 feels like a deal, even if it was never worth $200. And one of the most dangerous, sunk cost fallacy. You stay in something, a relationship, a job, a project, because you've already invested time or effort. But past investment is gone. Only future value matters. I once kept finishing a book I wasn't enjoying just because I had already read half of it. Halfway through, I realized I was choosing to waste more hours just to justify the hours I'd already wasted. That's sunk cost thinking. Step 5 is understanding how other people influence you without you realizing it. Humans evolved in tribes. Belonging meant survival, so your brain automatically copies behavior around you. If everyone believes something, part of you assumes it must be right. If an authority figure says something confidently, you're more likely to follow. If something seems scarce, you want it more. If someone does you a favor, you feel pressure to return it. These instincts were useful thousands of years ago. Today, they're exploited by marketing, social media, and group dynamics constantly. And then there's tribal thinking, the automatic division of us versus them. The moment someone is labeled outside your group, empathy drops. That's not morality. That's wiring. Understanding this helps you avoid reacting blindly to group pressure. Step 6 is realizing that your perception of how others see you is often wrong. There's something called the spotlight effect. You think everyone notices your mistakes, your awkward moments, your appearance. In reality, people are mostly thinking about themselves. Everyone feels like they're being watched. Almost nobody actually is. This alone can remove a huge amount of social anxiety once you internalize it. Step 7 is recognizing how your brain protects your self-image. When you make a mistake, you blame circumstances. When someone else makes a mistake, you blame their character. That's called attribution error. Your brain wants you to feel like the hero of your story, but this bias damages relationships because it removes empathy. Step 8 is understanding present bias, one of the biggest reasons long-term goals fail. Your brain heavily favors immediate rewards over future benefits. Comfort now beats success later in the moment. That's why saving money, exercising, or building skills feels hard. Your brain evolved for short-term survival, not long-term optimization. You're not broken for struggling with delayed gratification. You're human. There was a period where I kept choosing easy entertainment instead of doing something productive in the evenings. Every choice felt harmless in isolation, but months later, the accumulated effect was obvious. The problem wasn't motivation. It was present bias repeating daily. Step 9 is the biggest realization of all. You are not as rational as you think. Most of your decisions come from fast, automatic processes. Then your logical mind creates explanations afterward. You're often the narrator, not the driver. That sounds unsettling, but it's actually empowering, because it means you don't need perfect willpower. You need better systems. Which brings us to the final step, what you actually do with this knowledge. You don't try to become perfectly logical. That's impossible. Instead, you design your environment so good choices are easier. If you want to eat better, change what's available around you. If you want to save money, automate it. If you want to reduce phone use, remove triggers. Environment beats willpower almost every time. And you start giving other people more understanding too. Because they're running the same mental software you are. Same biases, same shortcuts, same blind spots. So here's the takeaway. You're not inconsistent because you're weak. You're inconsistent because you're human. Your brain is a survival machine built for a world that doesn't exist anymore. Once you learn how it works, you stop fighting yourself. And when you stop fighting yourself, change becomes a lot easier. If you understand the machine, you can finally start using it instead of being used by it. That's today's lesson. Next week, we level up again. So don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already part of the journey. And I'll see you there.